Hi guys! As usual, all the necessary links in the video description down below and my test system setup for that guy also in the video description. The small guy is Moondrop Moonriver III, and that is a successor to Moonriver II, a well-received USB dongle DAC/headamp with single-ended and balanced outputs using twin Cirrus Logic 43198 ICS in a fully balanced mode. It's really small, handy, and currently has a price tag close to $220, so it's positioned above the affordable dongles, more in area of accessible DAP players. My first contact with Moondrop and their signature tuning was years ago when I bought Canas Pro and then Kato. I also bought Chu as an entry-level set for my nephew. Moondrop is one of the most recognizable IEM brands in 2026, but I have very good memories from the times when they were just a newcomer to the market. Let's start with some numbers. The manufacturer specification. As I've said, twin Cirrus Logic CS43198 digital to analog converters, capable of decoding DSD up to 256 and PCM up to 52 bits, 384 kilohertz. The maximum output power is specified as 500 milliwatts for balanced output, but it does not say whether it's for the one channel or two channels, and it doesn't give us the impedance for that output power. I would probably guess that it is standard 52 ohms. Dynamic range is specified as 151 decibels. That was measured with AP. THD, total harmonic distortion, is 0.0018%, so really low. Signal to noise ratio. Interestingly, I found two numbers. One part of the specification says that the signal to noise ratio is 114 decibels, and the other part at the bottom of the web page for the Moonriver says it's something like 151 decibels, so in line with dynamic range. I don't know which number is true, but this guy is really clean. So I would risk guessing that it is something more than 114 decibels. The crosstalk is specified only for the single-ended output, and even for the single-ended output, it's more than 125 decibels. Balanced output will have that number even higher, so in both cases, that's an excellent score. And we do not get any kind of information on the frequency response for this guy. Nothing in the official data. So let's talk about the build and the companion application. In the box, that guy, you are getting a USB-C to C cable, a USB-C to A adapter. As you can see, this is custom-made cable with Moondrop logos. It's quite interesting shape. And that's our guy here. We do have a volume control knob that doubles as a switch that can be pressed like that. And this volume control is a little bit wobbly. Can I show you this? Yeah, it's moving like that, although you probably won't be able... Oh yes, you should be able to see that. It's wobbling a little bit. We do have USB input. This one is described as USB audio because we have a second one for the power delivery charge. We can use this guy to charge the phone simultaneously while we are listening to our music. And it accepts PD chargers up to, as far as I remember, 50 watts, something like that. We have a hardware switch for turning the DSP on and off. The idea is that this guy has a DSP internally, and we can use that DSP for the parametric equalizer using a companion app that I will show in a second, or web application that's accessible from Moondrop forums. You can load different EQ profiles, you can create your own profiles, and this switch allows you to switch between the DSP that's using your profile or just flat neutral sound. And I was using this guy for my review with DSP in off position, although I've also checked how it works with the companion application and EQ. We also do get an LED status light here, and we get a semi-transparent glass window in the back, which allows us to take a look inside. Interestingly, what made me laugh are those two gold contact places that are empty. They are looking like they would be waiting, for example, I don't know, for some kind of larger capacitor or something like that. Maybe these are test points, but they are drawing your attention even from that distance. All in all, I really like the build, but there's one problem with it. The whole guy is made of stainless steel. I'm not sure if you can see that. Yes, you should be able to see that, but it draws fingerprints like crazy. And it's very hard to remove them, even with microfiber cloth or something like that. Actually, when you are getting it out of the box, it comes with the foil wrap on it that protects the finish. And the first time you'll see those marks is when you will remove that foil. Because it's not exactly the glue residue, but the places where the foil was sticking to the metal will be visibly darker than other areas. So I've spent like half an hour cleaning that guy with isopropyl alcohol, and then when I was happy with the result, I took it in my hands and it was exactly as when I started the whole gig. So my answer to that was to do something like that, and at least it has a uniform color right now. So yeah. Let's talk about the companion application. The companion application doesn't force you to create an account. I hate applications that do that, by the way. So let's start it. But if you do want to save and share your audio profile, your DSP profile, it actually does require an account. But at this point, I am able to understand that because you need to store the profile somewhere. And the idea is that if you do have an account, you are able to share that and use it on different devices. And you can also use the web. You can also use the web editor for that. Yep, and it's connected here. Let's have it like that. What can we do here? We can use and load our personal sound preference. That would be our personal profile. For the target DSP and target EQ curve, that would be used with this guy and all other Moonriver equipment, which is a very interesting idea. The whole thing is that you are defining your own curve, your own DSP preferences, and those will be loaded as the target data in all of the Moondrop equipment. So you'll be changing equipment, you'll be changing the headphones, IEMs, etc., and you will be still able to retain the same tuning that you love. We can use DSP, and those are presets that are shared by other guys and official by the company, but you can also enter the online interactive DSP and you can use it to create your own profile. So that's kind of interesting. You can also use this application to load the firmware. Yep. And the latest firmware at the time when I'm recording this video is 1.6. They came with 1.3. So the first thing I did was to update the firmware. The application in general has one very interesting option that was quite fun for me, because when you go to the settings, you have a wallpaper download. And if you're into anime or manga, you can download them and use as wallpapers, which is an interesting thing, and I'm serious about that, because as you can see, for example, M15S has something like that as a factory stock wallpaper, and it's quite nice. So I think that would be quite nice if more of the audio gear equipment manufacturers could share some nice stock wallpapers for the people that are using and loving their equipment. So I really like the idea, and that was a really nice thing to have it there in the application. That's all about the device itself, that's all about the application, and let's talk about the sound quality of this small guy. Bass. Bass is very tightly controlled. It can go really low, so that's nice, but it feels like it holds back, having room for mid-range and treble. So it's there, but it stays in the back. Good example would be Come and Done by Duran Duran. Bass line that should be exactly in line with the rest of the song is there, you can hear it, but it stays behind. Although you can hear that it actually goes low like it should, but it stays in the back. It's a little bit better with mid bass, but it's also somewhat shy and doesn't take the lead even with pure dance tracks like, for example, Cotton Eye Joe, which is weird. It's there, but it's in the back. So I think this is the first device that I've tested that I was hearing that has something like that. Usually, the thing that stays in the back would be the mid-range with vocals, but not with this guy. The bass is in the back, but also the same bass can go really low, so it's not like it's rolled off, it's just in the back. Moving on to mid-range. It's weird, but I loved saxophones delivered by Moonriver III. They were very true to life, and the same goes for vocals, both male and female. Supernatural with very good natural timbre. With my planar MP145Pro, all voices were very natural, lifelike. This is probably because of great transparency and clarity of the mid-range that this Moonriver III delivers. This guy is better than many desktop-sized digital-to-analog converters based on Cirrus Logic chips. And I'm serious about that. When it comes to the mid-range, the clarity, the resolution, the natural timbre and lifelike voices are amazing. Treble. Treble has this trademark Moondrop smoothness and clarity I remember from Kato. By the way, Kato replaced my Sennheiser IE800, so that was at the time and still is a very high praise. Treble is open, smooth and sounds very musical, although it's not super airy. I would say it has just right amount of air without pumping up everything up there. And let's talk about the technicalities. Resolution. Two CS43198 deliver exceptional clarity and resolution. It's all there, even very small sounds in the back of the mix. If you've heard 43151 or 43198 earlier, then you know they do not sound analytical. But with right implementation, they deliver tons of detail, and Moonriver III has two of those chips inside. So it went with flying colors through my resolution test tracks playlist. Another technicality is soundstage and imaging. In this area, Moonriver also shines because it has excellent channel separation that results in wide, deep soundstage with very good layering and precise center image. You can hear things happening on the far sides of the soundstage, some of the things happening in the back, and some of the things are happening in the front. So basically the soundstage will heavily depend on your headphones. It will not be restricted or pumped up by the device itself. It's just neutral like it should be. When it can be wide and deep, it will be wide and deep. And just as long as your headphones will be able to convey that size and depth information. So, pairing. I wouldn't pair Moonriver III with anything analytical or bright sounding headphones, because that will kill that shy bass completely. I would go for neutral or maybe warmer bassy pairings. This will let you enjoy extraordinary mid-range, treble, and technicalities like resolution. It shines in these cases, and it will provide tons of fun with acoustic classical tracks in your collection. It will also be great for metal, rock tracks that do not rely on bass, as it will not be sharp in the treble, and yet it will be very quick and very precise, so it will not lose anything in complicated fast passages. But I wouldn't go for it for anything that relies on thick, fat, pumping bass. The bass will be okay, but it will not make your feet move, unless you will use DSP. It reacts very well to DSP if you will provide your own EQ profile that pumps the bass. It will work wonderfully. But with DSP on, as I've said, the bass is shy. It does go low, but weirdly it's shy. That's the best word I can use here. All in all, Moondrop Moonriver III is a great device with great build quality and great sound quality. Just don't be afraid to drop a low shelf boost now and then, and just enjoy your music with this guy. So again, all the necessary links in the video description, my test system setup details also in the video description. If you have any comments, just drop me a line. If you have any questions, just drop me a line in the comments, and I'll try to answer that as long as I know the answer. Thanks for watching, and have a great day, guys, with your music. See you next time.